welcome or welcome back to my channel and to today's video, which is going to be a mid-year planner lineup. I actually don't think I posted a planner lineup at the beginning of this year because I had no idea what I was doing. Functional planning is a constant issue for me, and I've been on a journey to find a functional planner that will work for me. I've bought so many different planners, I've tried so many different things, and honestly, I went into 2025 with no functional planner. I just didn't know what was going to be working for me in my 2025 season of life, so I just didn't film one. I have had more time to think about it. I've bought planners I've not even used. I mean, here's a planner that's sat to my side, which I bought and opened and immediately didn't use. I'm hoping that this lineup is going to, we've said this so many times, but is going to work for me. I've thought about it a lot. I think I've really leaned into what I think is going to work for my brain this year rather than what's going to work for the aesthetic, which was what I bought that other planner for. I've spent so much time watching videos, watching planner lineups and trying to get inspiration from people, whilst also trying to accept that my brain just doesn't work like other people's when it comes to planning. And I've had to really lean into that with this lineup. So I'm really excited to talk through it with you because I'm doing some slightly different things this year. And I don't really love doing that mid-year, but I'm trying to beat my perfectionism there and lean into the fact that it's okay that I'm going to be starting these from July. I'm not going to be focusing on my memory planner in this video. We all know I'm still using a Tilly Journal 7x9 functional flexi planner for that. I have talked about these planners a lot on the channel already, but if you don't know about them, Tilly is a UK shop who makes really customizable planners with a lot of different layouts. You can pick to have a monthly layout or not have one. You can pick different coil sizes. You can pick different covers. I love my Tilly memory planners. I've had one for the last 3 or 4 years. I think this might be my 4th. I love them. I don't see this changing. This is very much still what I'm in. We're not going to talk about how at time of filming this, which is quite early compared to when the video will go live, but we're not going to talk about how I have only done 3 spreads in here. That's a separate thing. That's nothing to do with the planner. That's entirely on me. What we're going to be focusing on in this video is functional planning. So let's start with what I'm expecting to use for my day-to-day everything kind of catch-all. Now, for any kind of forward planning, I use Google Cal for that. I have a shared calendar with my husband and it works so well for us. I would just never go back to having a paper planner for that. I used to record all my future plans in a paper planner and my husband couldn't see it. It was really impractical. And also doing it digitally means I can set up recurring appointments. We can have both of our things in there rather than just his. It means he can book stuff without needing to ask me because he can see it in the calendar. There's just no way that I would ever revert back from that. But one thing I found with Google Cal is that typically I'm using it on my phone, occasionally on my MacBook, but mostly on my phone. And your phone only has so much screen space to show you what is going on in any given week. And especially it's a nightmare to look at a month. And I even find that on a MacBook, that if I try and zoom out on a monthly level, because I have my work calendar in there, we have a lot of shared work calendars as well. I just can't get a sense really on that zoomed out scale of what's coming up for me. So that's what I felt I'd really been missing. And then Laurel Denise released this pop-up planner for 25-26. And I do have a full tour of this on my channel already. So check that out if you want my really in-depth thoughts on this planner. The pop-up planner has basically the layout that I have been looking for, which is my month and my weekly in one go in one view. And this can sit open on my desk all the time, so I can constantly flick back to it rather than feeling like there's some sort of, I know Anna has a word for it. I can't think what it is. It's not barrier, but that's kind of what I mean of there is some kind of barrier that means I can't access my planning. This is going to be something that I can just have open, laid out on my desk all the time. It also pops up, and I will maybe overlay a photo here so that you can see what the planner looks like popped up, because it is a big planner, so it's really difficult for me to give you the sense of scale with my filming retail space. But this planner pops up and stands up, and so the fact that I will be able to sit have this popped up next to my work desk and constantly be able to look at what's going on, I just love that. So the aim is that this will be my sort of everyday planner. I'll be putting my monthly plans here and then be putting my weekly plans here that link directly to what's happening in the month. The weekly literally flicks over. So once I'm done with a week, I can just flick it back or rip it off and then move on to the next week. I think this concept is just genius. Laurel Denise are doing things with planners that nobody else does. And it's so expensive for me to get them here in the UK, but I'm really hoping that this will be worth it. I am still on the fence about whether, at time of filming, I'm still on the fence about whether I will be filming Plan With Me's in this planner. I would actually really like to. I think it would be really interesting for you to see my like general thoughts in this planner. But when I've done Laurel Denise Plan With Me's before, they've been on entirely social media, which I have no issue you knowing what's going on social media wise for me ahead. But I do have issues with sharing what I'm up to on a weekly, daily basis with you ahead of time. I just don't think that that's something that YouTube need to know. So if I did Plan With Me's, I would be filming them ahead of time, maybe doing some mid-month check-ins and then posting it at the end of the month once all of the plans had already happened. So it would be really useful to know what you think about that. And it may still not work for me, even in that way, but I would just really like to know whether Plan With Me's in this are something you would like to see. So if you can let me know in the comments, that would be really helpful. So as I mentioned, my previous Laurel Denise planner, I did social media planning, and I really liked doing it in my Laurel Denise. It really worked for me. It was just the planner that I was using was a horizontal planner, which was really big at the time. So then I was thinking about, okay, well, if I wanted to have a social media planner, it might be that it works to just go in the Laurel Denise, but do I need to try something else? Do I need to have some kind of separate social media planning? I could potentially do this in Google Cal. Anna was sharing with me how she does it in Google Calendar, and that was really inspiring. So that could be an option. I could do it in Notion, but I know that something being digital can potentially be a barrier for me. So I have bought this, which is a Box Clever Press pop-up planner. I'm in my pop-up planner era. I feel like that's what I should have said before we started, but all of these functional planners have that same pop-up planner element because I've just decided that that's what I think is working for me right now. I just picked this up from Amazon because it was sold out on the Box Clever Press website. As you can see, it did start at the beginning of 2025, so it was cheaper because I was buying it mid-year. And this is what I'm thinking I can trial for social media planning. I've actually not opened this until now, so I am excited to show it to you. Got a little bit of curl here on the monthlies, which is slightly irritating, but it's okay. So I might rip this page out. I don't necessarily need it. Whereas the Laurel Denise pop-up planner starts in July, it's a mid-year planner, which is not my favorite for me, but is where we are, that's fine. This one is a 2025, so it started at the beginning of January, which obviously I've missed out. It has a different design for each month, and it has a full calendar spread. Don't love that it's got holidays in there. I said it in my Laurel Denise unboxing video, but I don't love having any holidays written in calendars, to be honest. I understand they must be useful for some people, but personally for me, it takes up too much of my box real estate, and I'm not massively interested in that. Oh, I like May's. I'm filming this video in May, so maybe I could get my app together and use it for May because that is really pretty. Then we have June, July, August. That's very pretty. They're really different, each one. September, October, November, and December. My plan is basically to just write my YouTube videos and in here and also when I do any Instagram posts, because what I tend to do with Instagram posts is I will batch several weeks of Instagram posts and schedule them. I love that we can now schedule posts normally on Instagram because it used to be exclusive to businesses. And I love that I have a content creator Instagram account and I'm so glad that I can schedule posts now. It's honestly life-changing. What happens is I will schedule for like a week in advance and then forget what's coming out which day. So it would be useful for me to have somewhere to see that. So the idea of this planner is just to write those in. I'm debating I might do it on post-it notes, especially for YouTube, because I will upload YouTube videos and schedule them, and then I'll think of something else to film and then I'll swap it in, or I'll use an erasable pen, I guess, either way. What I really liked about this one in particular is that on the right hand side, it's just got this string of to-do lists. And obviously this planner is not meant to be used as a social media planner. It's meant to be like a calendar that you probably just write shopping lists or something on here. But what I was thinking is I could, if I need to brain dump about a particular YouTube video or things I need to post for Instagram, I could make little lists on the right hand side. The other thing I want to use this for is I have like a running list of YouTube videos I would one day like to do, and I keep those at the moment. They're across probably 3 different planners. I think I've got them written in a bullet journal. I've got them in one of my disc bounds. I've got just like scraps of paper that have ideas on. I want those to sit in one place. So the idea is that I can write these here, and this to-do list flicks separately to the month. So I really like that. I think I've not really seen something like that before. So I'm really interested to try this. It is a very bright planner. I would also be really interested if they did a more neutral option, but to be honest, Box Clever Press, they just do like bright stuff. And then this is also a pop-up planner. So like the Laurel Denise planner, which pops up, this one does sit on my desk as well. Which, yeah, as I say, I'm very much in my pop-up planner era. And I'm hoping that this one, you know, again, just having a separate planner up there that I can see, I can quickly look over at a glance and see what's going on with my social media. If I don't need this to sit in this planner, I will move it into the Laurel Denise. But I am thinking, because of needing the to-do list part, this needs to be separate for me. We'll see what I think. So another planner that I felt I needed was a meal planner. And again, this could go into the Laurel Denise planner, but this one was like £7 from WH Smith's, which is a stationery store here in the UK. So I felt okay to buy this. And also I think that I want this to sit, well, I know this is where I want it to sit because it's where it sits. I already used this one, is in the kitchen so that me and my husband can both easily see it. I'm anticipating that the other planners will sit in my office. That's not really helpful for my husband to have a meal planner that doesn't sit in the room where we make meals. So this one sits in the kitchen. Again, it's not really a pop-up planner, but it does sit up. And so this means that I can have it sat upright on the kitchen side, so it's not taking up as much space, and my husband and I can just check into it midweek and see what we plan to eat. I have already done a weekly for this, so you can see here that I have written the date, and then I've written like what we're planning to eat, and then just some reminders to myself of like what days I need to defrost lunches on. This is undated, so it means that if for any reason we miss using it for a week, it's all good. We will just pick up the next week, so I really like that. It's in this like gorgeous like C pattern. It's really fun. I think they have one other planner like this one in a different design at the moment, I think, but I really liked this one. I think it's really calm and neutral, so that's why I went for it. The other thing that I really like about this planner is on the back of each of the spreads, it has a like notes and to do. Obviously, this isn't really a meal planner, it's what I'm choosing to use it for. But what this means is that I can keep a running list of what's in our outside freezer. So we have a chest freezer. I think I will also add what's in our normal freezer on here as well, because our freezer is very small and it is hard to navigate. But this means that when we're meal planning, we can check in about what food we have to use up. And because of the way that the planner will sit on the work surface, this is always on the back, this is always on the front. So I have not used basically the first weekly here so that I can always have this on the back. And then when I'm done with a week, I will rip it off from here so that this can always stay on the back. That for me was like the game changer for using this as a meal planner, because I've tried to have the tracking of what's going on in our freezers in notebooks or journals. I tried it in my bullet journal, which I set up at the beginning of the year and dropped very quickly because that's who I am as a person. But that was it. It's too much of a barrier because it's shut. The planner is pain points. Is that what they're called? It's too much of a pain point for me because it's locked away. It's somewhere that is not always laid flat out on the side. So this way, my husband and I can both check it. I really hope this works. We've only done 1 week in it so far at time of filming, but we've already looked at it a few times in the week, so I'm feeling optimistic. And then the other planner that I have is another one from WH Smith's. Again, I think this was like £7 or £8, and this is just a blank weekly planner. This is what I have been using just to sit next to my desk at the moment. I'm expecting that this one will get retired once I'm using the Laurel Denise. It's just I have been using this for the last couple of weeks at time of filming, which is the middle of May, and I needed something until I'm using my Laurel Denise where I can write down what's going on in my week. So I've just had this next to me on my desk in my office, just jotting down little things. It's not been aesthetic or pretty. I've literally just been writing, for example, wash, like as in laundry, like do a color wash or wash bras, that kind of thing. It's not aesthetic, but it works. And whilst I've had it laid flat, the other reason I bought this is because it is one that can stand up on the desk, because as I say, I'm just in my pop-up planner era. This one is this really gorgeous like leaf design, and then the pages are just blank. On the other side, it does have notes, to-do list and doodles. So I think that's really useful for like an overall week planning, because you can write any notes, you can write your weekly to-do list that doesn't fit in your days. And then if you need to like randomly doodle during a meeting, it's very helpful for that. I have just been using it currently folded this way, just with the week, but I think it's nice that if I had it laid out, I would be able to use it kind of with this whole week view. If it's popped up, it doesn't work as well because those are upside down. But I think realistically, if you have it popped up, you're only really looking at the side that faces you, and therefore I would only be looking at the weekly. Anyway, I think it is more practical how they've done it, where you could lay it flat with a full big week if you wanted it, or just a half week, or just this as well if you just wanted like your weekly overall to-do list. So that's it. That's where we are. That's what I'm hoping to use for, you know, I'd love to say for the rest of the year, but we know what I'm like, but we'll see. But that's what I'm hoping to do. It has been a really difficult journey with this. I've spent a lot of 2025 looking at really aesthetic, like Hobonichi spreads. The Hobonichi will always tempt me, I think. It's the spreads that people do in there are so beautiful. And I've been inspired by hourly planning, even though I know I don't need to do hourly planning. My work calendar hourly plans for me, so I don't need to recreate that in a paper planner. And I know that about myself, and still bought a planner that I might do that in. I've had a look at building like catch-all planners in Happy Planner, which I've sort of trialed a couple of times before. So you know, I've been drawn back to like the aesthetics of things that other people are doing. And I think this is probably the first time that I'm trying to be the most unapologetic to myself of what I need. And these I don't think will look particularly aesthetic. I'm hoping I can make the Laurel Denise one look maybe slightly interesting, but in the main, it probably won't because it needs to be functional. So I'm trying to really lean into that, lean into using planners that are slightly cheaper. The Laurel Denise is really not, but the other planners that are supporting it are just cheap ones that I can get from UK stationery stores here. Just going to try and avoid the beautiful spreads that I see on Instagram. I can appreciate them and not feel that I need to try and recreate them because it just doesn't work. And also, I don't have the time. I think that's been the biggest barrier for me in 2025. My job has like exploded. So I don't have the time to sit down and do really aesthetic spreads. I need things that are not going to have any kind of barriers for getting me to do the things. I need to just write the plans. I don't need to spend time picking out different highlighters or picking out different washi or using different stickers. Using stickers is a barrier for me, full stop, in functional planning. So I'm hoping that this is going to work, that I'm going to feel that I'm serving myself and what I need right now. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We live, we learn. We tried another setup and we go again. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let me know what your thoughts are on this planner stack. Let me know where you're at with your functional planning for this year. I know it's a journey for all of us. So I'm interested to know how you're all getting on at this mid-year point. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate a like. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe. In the description, I will have a link to as many of these planners as I can. It will definitely be the bottom two, but the WH Smith's ones, I'm not sure I'll be able to link to. But if you just go to your local WH Smith's, you should be able to find these, at least if your WH Smith's is relatively well stocked. I've seen them in a couple. I will also have links to other various things that I love generally when related to planning and reading, so check those out. And I'll also have a link to my Instagram and my Goodreads if you want to check out any more content from me. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.